worth you. August 15th, I believe. It is. There it is. And cheers to you. Drinking a little bit more out of that very special bottle I've got. A little bit left there. Very special bottle. You can see the skull head floating in there. And it is, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Kraken rum. So cheers to you. Mr. Longwood, Mr. Hellfire, great to see you.
Cheers, Captain. Good to see you too.
Kraken rum. And that's the 94 proof, my friends. Not that cheaper stuff. You can feel it all the way in. Very good. Well, it's good to see everybody here. Good to have everyone aboard. And guess what I forgot to do there, Mr. Davey? I forgot to call up the script so I even know what's going on. How about that? So let's go ahead and you just give me some and I'll figure it all out. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing, we'd love for you to go to our Captain's Quarters Podcast YouTube channel, subscribe and like, hit the bell, get the reminders, and be a part of our family, our crew, and join us every week because we do something different every week. And tonight we have a different special guest. Magic or music or acting or, well, it's an endless possibility for everything that we want to do. So ladies and gentlemen, join us on the Captain's Quarters YouTube podcast. We'd love to have you. Let's see, what else, Davey, do we have? How about the quote? There it is, the quote of the week. Ladies and gentlemen, the quote of the week. I am sorry to see you here, but if you had fought like a man, you needn't be hanged like a dog. I don't even have to look to see who that was. That's Anne Bonny. At the trial of her and Calico Jack and Mary Read. And she was sure none too happy with him, that's for sure. So ladies and gentlemen, that is a great quote. I do have a good question for you today. When you see a magic show or trick, are you the kind that has the need to ruin the mystery and try to figure it out? Or will you enjoy the magic that's being presented to you and believe that there's still a little bit of magic in the world? So, it's not going to give me that one either. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our question. We'll hopefully take some more time with that. It is time for Crew Adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been updated a bit. Mark Fauget is showing me a picture on Facebook that he's got us on our screen. I'm going to see if I can pass that over there. Hey, look at that. I can see myself in Mark's picture there. Davey, as we're playing around here, I'm going to try to send this over to you in just a minute.
Okay.
But ladies and gentlemen, our Crew Adventures for 2022. Ancient City Con coming up the first part of September. Pirates on the Edge in November. The Pirates of the High Seas in Panama City Beach. A new one, the Spooktacular. We've been making some secret announcements. 28, 29, and 30 of 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, our Spooktacular will be downtown in the Colonial Quarter this year. Be watching for all that's going on with that. We are upping our game. And January 2023, we are bringing back, ladies and gentlemen, Old City Pirate Fest. That's exciting. Be watching for that. We haven't decided full plans yet, but we do want everybody to be marking their last weekend of January for Old City Pirate Fest. I think I've covered them all there, Mr. Davey. What do you say?
Aye.
All right, very good. And if I can get this picture over to you, I don't know where it went. Trying to do two things at once. I'm not that talented. I am not talented at all. Wait a minute. Can I do it this way? Yes, I can. Very good. Hold on, Davey. There's a picture you're going to get to flash up there as soon as I figure out how to get you. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I am not that tech savvy. Davey, I just sent you a picture. It'll be fun to post it up there. All the way from Quebec, Canada, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the computer up there. How about that? Pretty good, eh? So let's see. What's next, Mr. Davey?
Next, if anything happened this week?
Nope, it's been a quiet week. We haven't really had anything. We're preparing for everything coming up the rest of the time, but we have not had any major events this past week. So
then we're up to our special guest.
Then it is time to bring our special guest in. For some reason, the computer is not letting me download the script, so I guess I'm going to depend on you, Mr. Davey, and my memory. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we have a very special guest, another local magician. And I say local, he's from up in Jacksonville. If you remember several weeks ago, we had Andrew on with us from Jacksonville, and this is his partner on some of the shows that they do. We thought we'd bring him in and let him do a little bit. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to bring him right on into the studio as he makes his way in. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is Michael Chrosniak. And I got the name right. How about that?
Yeah, very good.
I did. I'm glad you dressed for the occasion. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I love your shirt, Conjurer of Cheap Tricks.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of us magicians do cheap tricks.
Yeah. Well, actually, I got this particular saying from one of my favorite movies, The Lord of the Rings. When Bilbo Baggins and Gandalf are in his house, and he's like, "I am no conjurer of cheap tricks," and that's where I got the name.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, you've been doing magic semi-professionally into professionally for since what, 2017 now?
That was when I first opened my retail side of my business. I've been doing it before that, roughly when I graduated high school. I kind of did it on the side.
Right.
And then I decided to open a retail shop in 2017.
Very cool. Now, when you're doing magic, for the most part, you're a street performer.
That's right.
And that's probably what, 85% of your business, 80% of your business?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say that's where I get the majority, not only of just revenue, but also where I book my gigs. So, and you guys can see me at the Riverside Arts Market up in Jacksonville. That's where I do my thing on Saturdays.
Every Saturday.
Just about every Saturday. I haven't gone the last few weeks just because it's been really hot and it's not good to try and do magic with wet hands. So,
Yeah, when the sweat is pouring down your arms, it makes for the cards to be flimsy too.
Yeah.
I've had that problem before in the past. So you work with Andrew.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you do the Professional Liar Show.
Yep, that's right.
It's a great title for a couple of magicians to play games and have a good time with the audience. So
yeah, absolutely. One of our monikers is "We're going to lie to you," and that's the truth. So.
And hey, Harry Anderson was the same way. He would come out and tell you, nothing I say is real or the truth. The amazing Jonathan, he was the same way. And any good magician will use that ploy to really make their play. And I've used it before.
Yeah. Do you happen to know what the difference is between a professional liar and an amateur liar is?
No, what is it?
A professional asks for money.
Very good.
Amateurs don't do that.
It could be the same. It could be the same with magicians too. A professional magician and an amateur magician. And no, because I know amateur magicians that take money too. Never mind. We'll leave that one alone. All right. So we're both friends with Andrew Ratliff and Mr. G.
Yeah, Mr. G.
Mr. G, Mr. Green up in Jacksonville, who has a great magic background history. I'm going to have to try to get him on this show because I'm an old guy in magic. He's an old guy in magic. It might be a show that will go on for a little while.
I think it'd be really good for him to come out and do something.
I'd love to have him on. He used to come down and catch a couple of my shows at the Celtic Festival, because I do the Celtic Festival every year. And he came up and he goes, you're the only one I know. This is what he told me. You're the only one I know that does the Professor's Nightmare one-handed. And I took that as a great compliment.
Yes.
So he used to have a store. He no longer has.
No, he doesn't have a store.
Yeah, he doesn't have a store anymore. So let's see. A couple of things that we were talking before the show, and I thought this would be kind of fun to talk about anyway. We were talking about tips, and we were talking about some of the stupid things that kind of happen. So you do a magic trick that converts $1 bills to $100 bills.
Yes,
explain the trick as much as you can first.
Sure. Yeah. So that's basically it. You take 5 $1 bills, and then you do some magic, and then they become 5 $100 bills. And
you were doing it in downtown Jacksonville.
Yes.
Go figure this happening.
Yes. Yes.
And somebody came running up and snatched them out of your hand.
Oh yes, that is the last time I did that trick with 100. They were fake 100s, but it did happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope the guy figured it out that they were fake and then got mad at everything.
Yeah.
Or that he tried to pass them and then got in trouble. That would have even been better.
Yeah. Personally, that would have been justice. So.
Yeah, that would have been great justice. So did it scare you, or did it at least give you the thought process that doing street magic, you do have to kind of be aware of your surroundings?
Yes, I very seldomly now do any kind of money tricks like that while performing in the streets.
Yeah.
Just because there's the possibility that it could happen, and I think that's what every street performer fears, is someone taking their hat larger. Not just the money tricks that you do, but also taking your tip hat.
Your tip hat, and that's always, that can have some problems. Oh, I see that Davey has put your email down along the bottom. So if anybody is interested in hiring this fine performer, and I'll throw this out there. I've had Andrew, I've had Jeff Williams, which was 2 weeks ago, I believe, and now I've had you. I don't lightly just bring magicians onto the show. I obviously, if all my friends and fans know that I've done magic for 50 some years now, and I've had some great shows and done some shows in Las Vegas and beyond. And I've seen a few things that you've done. Mm-hmm. I've never had the opportunity to go and stand and watch you do street magic.
Sure.
But I am making a huge effort to come and watch you and Andrew with your Professional Liar show, which is the 27th at Jack's Brewery.
Yeah, Jack's Craft Beer.
Jack's Craft Beer. So. The 27th. I'm making an effort to go up that Saturday evening and watch their show.
Right. Ticket price is buying alcohol. That is the ticket price. So.
And that's a good deal. And old Captain Mayhem will. Now, I'm not going to go up in my captain's gear. I'm going up in plain clothes so I can kind of not take any attention from the boys. But I will have several beers and I will enjoy the show. And now you know why all the rum is gone. There you go, Davey. Thank you very much. You're absolutely right. Good thing it's a brewery. There won't be any rum. It'll be all beer. But I'm making huge efforts. Now, we are doing something that day. Let me give a fast plug for it. The Seawolf Privateers down in Flagler County have been doing murder mysteries. They've done 2, and they've raised so much money that they are doing a free party for all the foster children in Flagler County and their families. Everything for the day, from 11 till 1 or 11 till 2, whatever the timing is all free. That's food, games, activities. Captain Mayhem's magic show is going to be down there. And so they've raised enough money to pay everybody and everything for this so that all the foster kids in Flagler County are free for this whole event.
That's awesome. That's
a really great project. And the St. Augustine Swashbucklers will be helping them out on a few of those newer projects down the road. So, and we're hoping to bring them in to a couple of our projects also. So that's a quick plug for the Seawolves. We may talk about them a little later on, but so you do charity work though too?
I do. Yeah, I've done charity work in the past. Absolutely. I think we're also talking about earlier about paid gigs versus not taking pay for gigs.
Yes.
So that happens. That's just part of the life. And personally, the way that I see it, if it's something that you're really passionate about, I typically won't charge for it or anything like that. If you're, and largely depends on how I'm approached too. Like if people say, we're going to give you exposure for this. Okay.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, magicians die from exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure
does not pay the bills.
Yeah. So, absolutely. I've done charity stuff for charity events and I actually like some charity events. Actually, I like all the charity events that I've done things for. Sometimes though, you have to give them a couple of ideas of how to get paid. Like what a lot of people don't realize is like, hey, a lot of these events are sponsored. Why don't you say, hey, why don't you have one of your sponsors sponsor the entertainment and then put a special thing in the flyer for them?
Absolutely.
So that way that you're still getting paid as the entertainer and you're still bringing entertainment to the event.
Right. And that's always a good way to do it. And here's another plug for our Halloween event coming up in Colonial Quarter. We're looking for about 5 sponsors. And those sponsors will actually get their logo in the Halloween displays. And that's one way to entice them to be a part of it. So sponsorship is very important. When you're trying to put together a show or an event, having sponsors put in their money ensures that you're going to at least not have to do it for free.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing. So the Liar Show starts at 8 p.m. on Saturday, August 27th.
Thank you, Andrew, for that.
Andrew Ratliff is watching the show.
Yeah, that's the better half of the Professional Liar Show, just so you're aware.
The better half?
The better half.
Yes.
So.
I was going to, it's a good thing when we know he's watching because I was thinking about asking a couple of bad questions about him. And we could talk really ugly about him, but now that he's watching, we have to be nice about it. So good to see you, Andrew. Good to see you. So it is, so describe the Professional Liar Show.
Sure. It's a magic, music, and comedy show. It spans roughly an hour and 15 minutes, and sometimes we even put a 15-minute intermission in there. You're going to see things. You're going to see Andrew's geek magic.
Yeah, he hates that. He hates that. Geek magic, yes.
Geek magic. Geek magic is just another way of saying sideshow or sideshow performing. People like swallowing nails, laying on a bed of nails. That's all falls under the realm of geek magic. And only me, Mr. G, and now Mayhem call it geek magic that I'm aware of.
Yes.
So, and I've been trying to work really hard to work the word geek in as much as possible, just so that I can.
You're in the show?
Yeah, for Andrew. So,
good. Well, if I come up with some ideas, I might help you out.
Yeah.
Hey, and I always have this one thing I like to tell people. If I don't tease you, it means I don't like you.
Yeah.
There it is.
Going back to the show, though, we've got things that span card tricks. We've got cups and balls, which are traditional magic tricks. We've got rope routines. We've got, at the very end, what we did is we've kind of combined 2 tricks together. We've combined a teleportation device with a silk to egg. And you just have to be there to see what happens with that.
I'm making an effort to be there because I'd like to see your show. Andrew has sent me invitations to come to so many of the shows, but when you are a full-time performer, it's not always easy to get time off. If you don't work, you don't get paid.
That's true.
So it is. So you got a trick for us?
Of course, yeah. So this is my go-to trick, and Mayhem was asking me if I do 3-card Monty. And
let's see if we can put this right about there. That should.
Perfect.
So watch closely, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
And this is my 3. It's a 4-card, 3-card Monty. So this right here is the 3 of hearts. I don't know if everybody can see that.
I think we can.
The 3 goes here. That's a blank card. Okay, that's 1. That's 2, and that's 3 blank cards. Okay, so we've got 3 blank cards. 1, 3. Your job is to follow the 3. Okay. Now I take a blank card. The blank card goes here. The 3 comes here. Can everybody see that? Pretty sure everybody can.
Right in the middle.
That's right. So that's 1. Right here is where I'm going to trick you. See, I'm a nice magician. I tell you where I'm going to trick you. Okay. Ooh. That's 2. Everybody still with me?
Right.
And that's 3. And if you were, and believe it or not, I've already got you looking in the wrong place.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I'll do that again. I know you weren't ready. Here, take a look. Blank card comes over here. 3 comes over here. This time, I'm going to give you a hint because I like to be fair. Would you help me with this one?
Sure.
All right. So that's 1.
1.
This is just in case you didn't think it was there.
All right.
That's 2. Are you still with me?
I'm still with you. It's on the bottom.
And that's 3.
And that's 3. So now it's in the middle.
Now, if you were paying attention, go ahead and point to that 3 for me.
It should be right there in
No,
the middle.
no. These are the blank cards. The 3 is over here.
Caught again. Glad I'm not paying money for that.
Yep. Believe it, that is still 1 blank card, guys. That's 2 blank cards, guys. That's 3 blank cards. So the blank card is going to go under here just like before. The 3 is going to come over here. Are you ready?
It's in the middle.
This time, no hints, folks. No hints. Okay. So that's 1. Right here is where I'm going to trick you. Wow. That's 2. Everybody still with me?
Right.
And that's 3. Go ahead and point to that 3.
Well, I could be wrong, but I thought it went back to the middle.
Are you sure? I'll give you 1 opportunity to change your mind.
It's on the top.
It's on the top.
Yeah.
So you're saying it was in the middle, then you changed to the top.
Yeah.
That's a real shame.
I know why.
Had you stuck with the middle,
It's in the middle. Look at that.
you would have got it there. Had you went for the bottom card, you'd have also got a 3, and of course the top card. So thankfully you didn't go for the bait, though.
Oh, that would have been the only blank card. Look at that.
Yeah.
All 3s. So, 3 3s.
Yep.
And 1 blank. Somehow I think I've been taken. It's a good thing. There's the audience. It's a good thing that there was no money on the table because this captain would have to be taking it back at knife point. No, you never cheat a captain, that's for sure. That's a really great trick, and that's a very simple trick too.
It is very simple, yes. There's actually a second half to it that I will not perform because I got to keep something for myself. But it really brings it full circle. But I like to. That's how I hook people when I'm on the streets. If you were to come and approach me, that is the first trick you would see.
When when Andrew was here, we did a trick. And in fact, I still have it right up here. And it's one of my favorite easy ones just to have a good time with.
Sure.
And so I'm going to play with it real quick just because we're doing card tricks. And it's a very simple trick. And it only uses 2 cards. Now I use a 9 of spades for this one. And the 9 of spades is the red back card. And it uses a jack of hearts. Oh, it's a queen. I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses in. So I have the Queen of Hearts, which is the blue back card, and the 9 of Spades, which is the red back card. Now, if I were to take the 9 of Spades and place it behind my back, everybody would assume it was the 9 of Spades. But indeed, it's actually the Queen, which could have been the red back card after all. So it's a very simple trick. Lots of fun to do. And you can have a good time with it. But about 3 times around, and then you're...
Yeah, you don't want to do that one too much.
You don't want to do that one too much.
Yeah.
It's a fun one to do. I have a good time with it. We package these once in a while and then sell them off to people so that they can have some fun with it.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a popular thing in Magic. Once is a show, twice is a lesson. That's why you never see the same trick twice.
That's true. Right. Repetition forms familiarity.
That's right.
And you don't want that in the Magic world. So who are some of your idols in the Magic world?
I would say my number 1 idol is Pop Hayden. He's one of my favorites.
You know, he lives in South Florida.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know that. Let me tell you a reason why.
He used to. Maybe the past couple of years, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think he lives down south.
Okay. One of the reasons that I like him so much is that if you go to his website and you call his number, you actually get him, and it's like. When that happened to me, I mean, I was a fan of his before. Always, I like his whole bit with the snake oil seller that he established himself to be from the 1800s and his magnetic water, and he's quite a funny guy. And what's really interesting is that he hides how good he is. You know, with like he'll show you the simple stuff, but then you see him do something that is expert level, and you're just like, I would have never expected that from him, you know. And I can't go without going into too much into it, but it's like the man's got chops and he's got talent. I'll just say that.
And one of the things that has made him well known, and Pop Hayden's been around for 40 years now.
Yeah, wait,
at least. Long time. He developed that character.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the things that I'll spin it back around to Captain Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been doing this pirate character now for 17 years. It's more fun to do magic as a pirate than it was when I was doing it in tuxedos or suits. I mean, I had a good time doing it, but doing it this way has become a real joy. And I think if you think about it, look at some of the characters that are famous or ingrained in your brain as far as famous magicians.
Right.
Harry Anderson,
mm-hmm.
Amazing Jonathan.
Yes.
And the name
Johnny Thompson.
Johnny Thompson. The name was escaping me there. Johnny Thompson.
Think about like Blackstone, for example, like the traditional classic
right.
Magician. And then there was the guy, I cannot remember his name, Youngling Soo.
Yes.
He was a white guy, basically. He's an American pretending to be Asian. Yes.
Another one that was a character, and you may not know who this is, and many of our listeners probably won't either, is Carl Ballantyne.
Okay.
All right. Now, Carl Ballantyne was a hugely funny comedy magician that nothing went right. Everything went wrong. But he was hilarious at it. For those of you that might remember a television show called McHale's Navy, he was the tall con man, the blonde-haired con man Navy guy that was conning everybody for the good of his buddies. But he was a great magician. Another one would be Tom Mullica.
Tom Mullica, yeah.
Or even more so, Harry Houdini.
Of course.
Even more so would be Matt King.
Matt
Now
King.
there's a character.
Yeah.
And he plays this homey down home Kentucky.
Yeah.
His clothes have come off grandma's couch, and he's just a bumbling nerd.
Yeah.
But he's hilariously funny. And that's the best part. Mr. Davey, the picture you just popped up there to begin with Michael, pop that up there again if you can, with the suspenders and the top hat. See, that's the old-fashioned kind of a magician, and I bet that's the character you're going for.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly right.
The street performer, the hustler with the three-card Monty, the shell game, or a professional liar, hard at work, want to see a trick. That's a pretty good come on right there.
Yeah.
So and there he is. Now that looks
that's
like
a professor's nightmare, actually.
Yeah. You do Professor's Nightmare?
Yeah.
Is that at a swimming pool or a party?
That's the Hemming Park when it was. Well, it's actually known as James Weldon Johnson Park now, but that was Hemming Park before it was James Weldon Johnson Park.
So there's that other guy. Yeah. The other guy right there. The fun thing about street performing, always for me, and I basically, in almost everything I'm doing now, is almost street performing too.
Of course. Yeah.
You're within feet of people.
Yes.
And you're interacting with them. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to, as you interact, you are trying to work everything that's going on around you into what you're doing.
Correct.
Because if you can keep your audience to paying attention by including them into this, then
right. Don't. If something happens, one of the things I always do, if you can't hide it, highlight it. That's largely what I do. When people walk away from, like I've done one or two tricks, and I see people walk away, say, "Hey, where are you going? I didn't walk away when you came up," or something like that. Right. And it sometimes it hooks them back.
And they'll come back.
Yeah. And then when I call people, "Hey, you guys want to see some magic?" No. What's the worst could happen? You have a good time. I mean,
it's all about the hook.
Back. Yeah.
Yeah. Very good. And being a street performer, that's how. Well, one of the more famous magicians of modern day times right now is a duo, Penn and Teller, and they got their chops broke in by doing street magic in New York.
Oh yeah.
And not only street magic but juggling. Penn Jillette is a great juggler, and he did a lot of juggling too. And they've come a long way. And when I first was aware of Penn and Teller, I was one of those magicians that the secret stays secret. You don't tell anybody. And they came along and started telling all the secrets. And I was on the bandwagon let's get the pitchforks and the tar and the feathers.
The stake.
But I realized something when I was doing a few stage shows. A couple of tricks that they revealed were in my show. They did magicians a favor. And the favor they did was it caused magicians to have to think of a different presentation of the trick. It's the same trick. Almost every card trick is exactly the same. Mm-hmm. I always tell people there's only really 2 card tricks in the world. One of them is take a card. I'm going to find it in some way, shape, or form. The method with which I find it is a trick. Right. And I could have 17 people. In fact, I knew a couple of magicians that would do this. They'd have 12 or 15 cards chosen in a street performance. And then they would reveal 12 or 15 cards in 12 or 15 different ways. This pocket here, or under the hat there, or in somebody's purse there. And the audience thought it was 12 or 15 tricks. Right. In reality, it's the same trick. It's one trick.
15 times, yeah.
One trick. So it working the streets really hones your ability.
I agree. I'm glad that you said that, because I think that a lot of magicians, or people who call themselves magicians, would really benefit from working in the streets. Number one, it teaches you how to deal with hecklers.
Yes.
Number two, it teaches you how to adapt. Number three, there are moves I would never use in any normal situation in a show or anything, but I've had to use them in street performances to get out of something. What's your backup plan? And street performances in general have taught me how to do that. There's no all improv is practiced, but when you need it, you need it. I can give you a perfect example. There was a professional liars show that me and Andrew did at Water Song, I think is the name of the establishment.
Don't get it wrong, or he'll come in here and say something.
Yeah. Water Song was the name of the establishment, and we were doing this reading routine where Andrew was pretending to read cards that a person was looking at. Obviously, there's some kind of code or something going on between me and him, and I can say that because I'm not going to tell you what the code is. So, but anyways, what this woman had done, she wanted to pick a card, and this heavily relied on a stack and some fancy shuffling. I said, sure, pick a card, because I'm a card magician. I can control cards, not a problem. She starts doing this with the deck. I'm like, I am sweating bullets. And then she takes a card and holds it close to her chest. If I hadn't peeked what the card was before she got it to her chest, this would have completely failed. And then I'm trying to think of telling Andrew, is like, this is done, we're done. I don't know how to tell him that. I know what the card is, but I don't know how to tell him that. And then Andrew comes up with this right on the fly, again, street performing. Mike, if you can't tell me what card it is, can you tell me what card it isn't? That's my cue. Yes, I can. And then we went into a different method to get him to the card.
But you had an out. You had an out. There's always it. I have several tricks that have different directions, because I have failed at tricks before in front of a full audience.
Yep, me too.
And after the show, when you're talking to the audience in greetings or whatever else, you find out that they have no idea that you screwed it up.
Yes,
none whatsoever, which means that you've done a really great job. Mm-hmm. I would venture to say it's the same with, because I know that my good friends Adam and Christy are in the audience tonight, and they're musicians, and I would dare venture to say they have the same situation, but that they do street performance too. Right. They do bars and live music all the time. I am quite positive that every live performer has a moment or two on a regular basis where things just aren't going exactly the way it needs to go, and they have to have an out.
Yeah.
I know a couple of musicians who just sing the wrong lyrics to a song, and sometimes nobody knows. But then, look at the way people look at that song's Blinded by the Light, wrapped up like a deuce in everybody has that wrong. So you can come up with some really great outs.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Tom Mullica before, and I think you saw, I have a picture of him over here. And I was friends with him before he passed on, and he was the epitome of what misdirection is for magicians.
I agree with that.
He would be standing. He became famous. Fake it till you make it. I'm famous for making up my own words to songs. Yes,
Yeah.
Christy, I bet you do.
Yeah.
But you're so lovely at it, nobody notices. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
Tom Mullica.
Mhm.
He became famous because he had a bar in Atlanta called the Tomfoolery, and he had one section of the bar that was set up for him to be magical. It got so much for him that he had to stop and sell the bar because he was expected to be there all the time. But he would be standing there with a deck of cards, and he needed to do a move. And when he was ready to do the move, he'd be staring up and he'd go, "Man, I got to get the cleaners in here to get that cobweb down." Well, the audience looks at the cobweb and he does the move. And the move is a bold-faced move right in front of everybody, and nobody sees it because they're all now looking at the damn cobweb.
Right.
So I learned a lot from him, and I've done that before. I wanted to do something, and some people have watched me doing sleight of hand with pirate coins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if I need to do something to misdirect, I'll drop a coin on the floor.
Yeah.
Coin on the floor makes a lot of racket.
Yes, it does. And
so when people see me drop coins, sometimes it's on purpose. It's not always an accident because my hands are old. It's on purpose. So
some of the things that I do, I'll look at a person. People will look where you look. So whenever you're doing a classic coin trick, I don't have any coins over here, but whenever you're doing like a classic coin trick and you vanish a coin, you bring it over here. If you're looking here and people believe that it's there, then they believe it's all there.
Right.
You can do whatever you want with this hand. There's your misdirection.
It's on camera. It's always going to be a little bit different, but that's a die, and you can do the die. And as you take the hand up and show everybody and point to it, it actually vanishes right in front of their eyes.
Right.
I don't know how that came off on camera, but it's actually sitting right here on the table.
Yeah.
Because everybody will look where you look.
Correct. So that's one of the biggest things. The second biggest thing that I do to probably misdirect people is I'll ask them a question. I can look them right in the eye and say, "When were you born? You look like a Sagittarius." And even if it doesn't matter what it is, the answer is irrelevant. But it's just for me to do whatever move I'm about to do. Because
almost everybody, whether it's polite or not, almost everybody, if you ask them a question and look them in the eye, they look you in the eye. While they're looking you in the eye, they're not looking at your hands.
Right. Or I'll purposefully miscall something because what'll happen whenever somebody says, "Oh wait, no, I was born on this day." You see, that's like we're like, "Oh wait," they will automatically look and correct themselves to make sure that you get the right answer. So all of that is different types of misdirection that I use.
And you can't learn that kind of thing without experience doing street performance.
Exactly.
Whether it's magic or music, or I know some sword fighters that do street sword fighting, comedy shows. Street performance is the only thing we have left nowadays that I can think of off the top of my head, because a lot of times it used to be circuses and carnivals that had lots and lots of geek magicians.
Yeah. A bunch of geeks. Yeah.
So I love doing street performances, and I still enjoy that kind of atmosphere. Right.
And also when you're doing street performances, this is just another side point that I like to bring up. You have to be really cautious about what tricks you're going to do. And you know this from experience. You don't want to bring tricks the way that I set up a trick for a street performance is if at any point it is somehow snatched or taken from me, they will find nothing. I'm using 6 coins, and it is only 6 coins that I'm using. And so if they were to snatch it out of my hand, all they would find is a coin.
Right.
That's it. If you're doing a rope routine, like Professor's Nightmare, for example, the way that I do my Professor's Nightmare, they examine it at the beginning, they examine it in the middle, and they examine it again at the very end. So there's 3 points where these people have put their hands on this prop, and they can't explain what is happening at this whenever I do my Professor's Nightmare.
Right.
And I do that purposefully because I always get the kids that are like, "Oh, it's right there." And then when they look at it, it's not there. And they're like, "What?" It just adds more. Like they could have picked it up at any point and they wouldn't have found anything. So
it's proof that most of the magicians that are worth their weight use props that are not 100% gaff or gimmick.
Right. And I actually have a rule when I'm buying magic props. It has to be 95% examinable before I'll purchase it.
Right.
Just because of that if it's going to go in my street routine, people have to be able to put their hands on it.
And almost everything I do now, as far as street magic, is with coins and gems for the kids, and I can change coins to gems and gems to coins,
right?
Or seashells.
And you can hand them out,
and then I give them away.
Yeah.
And so I magically produce a coin and then change it into a gem, and they get to keep the gem. And I might pull the coin out of their brother or sister's ear, and then they get to keep. So they get to keep everything.
Right. None
of it's gaff, none of it's gimmick, and it's pure sleight of hand.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And even I don't know if you do the trick or not. Do you do the fold up where you change a bill by pulling at your fingertips? I do it constantly.
Yeah, I do. I actually have it here too.
And I do that. So. And when I change it, I borrow a 20 or a 10, and I change it to a parchment paper old replica bill, mm-hmm. which makes it really magical, but still fits within my character.
Right.
And 8 times out of 10, the person that loaned me the 10 or the 20 mm-hmm. doesn't want me to do it back again.
Right. They want you to keep
They want to keep the bill.
Right.
And it ensures a pretty doggone good tip.
Yeah.
And so
this is actually a trick that you want me to do that one?
Go ahead.
I can do something.
Please.
This is actually a trick that one of the few tricks that I love to do, and this is actually a trick that the script for the trick was made up by the spectators who watched it. So, and this is the mismade bill trick. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yes.
Basically, I didn't know how to present this trick. So I just showed a bunch of people, and eventually a script developed over a period of time. So what we have here is a single dollar bill. Okay, that's George Washington. Pay attention to George Washington's heads. That's going to play an important part later on, okay? I'm going to give the bill a fold, not any fold, a magic fold, okay? I give the bill another fold, not any fold, a
magic fold.
Of course. I love it when people pay attention. Okay.
Well, it's my show. I have to pay attention.
Yeah, very good. You'll notice as I'm folding the bill, it's getting smaller. That's not magic. That's geometry. Okay.
That's actually governmental finance, but that's a different story too.
True. One final fold. Time for the magic fairy dust. I'm out of fairy dust. I need a little more.
Aye.
That's dandruff. And magically, George Washington's head is upside down. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you don't hear a whole lot of
hand applause. Yeah. No. That's just a joke. That's not the trick. I could tell you were over there like, oh, that's so stupid. Here's the real trick. Watch, okay? We give it a fold. Now, you guys will notice that I don't do very fast magic, okay? For obvious reasons, okay? If you can't hide it, highlight it, okay? Don't blink, not even for a second, folks, because when you blink, that's when you miss it. Did you guys blink? No? Are you sure? How about now?
There you go.
See, that's 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. Get it? It's not $1 anymore. It's 4 quarter. It takes a second. Okay. Now I can't keep it like this because defacing government property is against the law. So just as slowly as I did it is as slowly as I will undo it. Don't blink, folks, not even for a second, because what happens when you blink? You miss it every single time.
What's really cool about that trick is to be able to watch yourself on camera do it.
Yeah.
Because you'll find that if you're doing it exactly right, you're seeing what the audience is seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the trick at ASU Stadium for a huge collegiate football something. I don't even remember what was going on. But they had the camera come in and my hands were on the Jumbotron. Mm-hmm. So my hands were like 10 feet tall doing this trip.
Yeah.
And I was so pleased that it just worked out perfect. Mm-hmm. You can't see anything. It looks like it magically changes right in front of your eyes. And then when I came here to St. Augustine and started doing this as a pirate, I do it with the parchment paper souvenir bills that everybody buys.
Right.
And I just give them away. Yeah. So it's a great routine. It is really pure sleight of hand.
Yeah.
And it's
a little angly. You know, you want to make sure you have the see everyone from here to that side of the screen. You guys saw wonder and amazement. Everyone from me back saw the tutorial. So
yeah. Well, here's how because it is kind of angly. Here's what I do. I bring it in I play it close to the vest.
Mm-hmm.
If you play it close to the vest, you're still in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
So it's a great trick. It's a great routine.
Either way, though, I'll say this. I'm not worried about people looking at my hands because if I don't look at my hands, largely other people won't do.
Right, that's true. And they're looking at the bill. They're not looking at your hands.
Yeah.
They're looking at the bill. So it's a great routine. I love it. I've been doing it for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done it as the Miss May. I've done it where I've borrowed. In Vegas, it was always funny to stand on the edge of the stage at a comedy club and say, "Hey, who's got $100 bill?" Well, everybody has $100 bills, and then I would change it to a 1, and then give them the 1 back, and tell them, "Hey, welcome to Vegas. Sit down." And so it was always funny.
Yeah.
Eventually, somewhere in the show, maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, I'd ask if anybody had a spare $1 bill. And that opened up the joke. I'd walk to the stage where they were at and go, "Does anybody have a spare $1?" Because they're not paying attention.
Right.
And then you take and change it back and give them their $100 bill back.
Right. You're doing a callback.
Yeah. So it's a great routine and it's a lot of fun. And I know a lot of magicians that do it. I've seen some magicians do it on YouTube, and they shouldn't do it.
No. Some of them, they practice. If you don't,
it's very important.
So a lot, like I said, all improv, even the stuff that we come up with on the fly is still practiced. All of it.
And magic is my life. Pirate is now my life, but magic and pirate is my life, and it's a great combination for me. You've got a great character that you're using, and you and Andrew doing your show together, the Professional Liars. It's a great concept. I bet it's a great show. I mean, I'll speak out that far. Yeah, we've put a lot of work into the show, and in the show I actually play the piano. That's another little thing that I do on the side. I would never call myself a musician because I don't do that professionally. I don't claim to be a musician. I pretty much I doodle on the piano. That's it. But it actually, when I doodle right, it sounds good. So well, that's good.
But
so it's a combination that you're putting a little bit of magic in with or a little bit of music in with your magic, and that's always a good thing too. Yeah. So are we getting a lot of good comments there, Mr. Davey?
Yes, we are.
I'm going to pull the screen over to my other screen so I can see it a little better because I don't have my specs in right the way I want them to. And so we have a video to show off real quick. Can we go ahead and put that one up there?
Which one? Your one?
Video, the Pirate History video with Captain Mayhem.
Okay.
This is our video of the week segment.
Captain Mayhem, here all the way from the historical city of St. Augustine, telling you a little bit of historical knowledge on pirates. The golden age of piracy starts around the 1680s, ends around the 1720s. And depending on which historians you want to talk to, will depend on which of those decades it really does start and end. I prefer to say it's about 40 years, give or take. But the weapons of pirates back then, flintlock, that was a good thing, except for one problem. Bang, done. What do you do with it then? It becomes a club, or it's thrown to the death. But the preferred is the cutlass, a shorter sword, edged on one side, blunted on the other, wouldn't get tangled up in all the riggings and the sail and the close proximity of all the other people fighting. You couldn't come upon a sword. What did you come upon? These were everywhere. These were all over the ship. Belaying pins. Now, they're called belaying pins because you're belaying the lines. You're striking the lines, making sure that everything is taken care of and taut, so that the sails are out or in. However, these keep your after line around, and these are readily available to pull out, grab, and use as a billy club. And this was one of the other preferred weapons of pirates. Flintlock, cutlass, blunderbuss, and belaying pin. Now, in the words of Bartholomew Roberts, in his code, All men shall keep their piece, their pistol, and their cutlass clean and ready for action at all times. Pistol, you know what that is. Cutlass, you know what that is. See if you can figure out what a piece might be. I'll leave it at that for the next time we talk. And that might be on Captain's Quarters Podcast every Sunday evening at 9 p.m.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, our segment, the video of the week. If you have a great video that you want to share with us and put on the show, let us know. Give us a link, send it over to Mr. Davey or Mr. Hellfire or myself, and we'll put your video in there and show it off. And you better start figuring them out, ladies and gentlemen, because until you do, I might just have to keep putting videos of me out there. And I'm sure people will kind of get tired of seeing videos of me. So bring your videos up to us and let us see what we've got. Mr. Davey, I believe you have history of the week, this week in history?
I do.
Go ahead. Very good, Davey. Good history for this week. We enjoyed that one. That's a good one. I've been looking back through some of the comments. I put my specs in so I could see what we're doing here. And I'm going backwards to see what we've got here, just to make sure we don't ignore anybody. Let's see. So, Zachary Harker, good to see you. Welcome aboard. And I'm glad you were looking forward to a great show. Adam Levins, poof, now you see me. Yeah. I could say, but you can't see me, but I'll leave it at that. Let's see, who else is there? Hey, Mr. Neuenfeld, hang on to your hats and your women. Mayhem and his minions are back in the house. Very good. Jonathan Miller's on board. And there's Andrew. Andrew Ratliff. Yep. Time to release the Kraken. Yep, that's what we do every week. A little bit of Kraken just for me. Wait a minute. Aye, very good. I can't drink that much. We have to keep it a live show. For me, I like the live illusions. That's Adam Lemmings there. I like that. Live illusions are great. I have some videos of me doing live illusions. I guess we'll have to make sure we can use those if nobody gives us anything else. I see Ransom Mayhem is in the house from Panama City Beach. Hi, good to see you there. welcome aboard. Nightingale in Florida, thank you very much. And Will the Historian, I'm always happy when I see that. I always want the magic, but because of my dad, I have caught myself focusing on how the trick is done and catching a few tidbits. That's my son, by the way. Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's see. Who else do we have? There's Adam and Christy. We were talking about working on doing street performances. And I like to be amazed by the trick. I don't want to know how it's done. It ruins the mystery. I always like to tell everybody we all need a little bit of magic in our life. And if a magician can astound you for just 30 seconds, it gives you the idea that magic is possible and life can be good. That's always a good thing. Just like the mystic of magic, I also believe in karma, especially well-earned karma. I see we have a few Facebook watchers on board with us. That's very good. And Andrew, the live shows, the Liar Show. Oh, he gave us a date and time on the Liar Show. Pardon my not being able to see as well as I would. When we get the newer monitor, it'll be much easier for me to see. There's Donna Bogus. I'm glad she's on board with us. Somebody from Facebook said, hey, I know that face. I'm not sure who that was because all we see is a Facebook username. Nightingale, Christy. Look at everybody there. Very good. And there is Captain Shmoo. He's from Quebec, Canada. It's always good to have him aboard. We're still talking about working on a project around the holiday time for him. We had some great comments and some great answers to our questions, and we're always happy to have everybody on board with us. Anything I missed, Mr. Davey? That's good. Thank you. Keeping me on track. Ladies and gentlemen, there's the treasures on the horizon. We're on August 15th with Michael Chrosniak, magician. Next week, we'll have the River Pirate. That's Jason Gillette. We'll be talking about a couple of favorite rums. Hopefully on August 29th, I'll be having Max Michaels in. He is the Ancient City Con owner, and we'll be talking about what we're doing there. And the 1st of September, Sketchy Guy from Las Vegas, the artist that has done our cartoons, faces, and made us look debonairly handsome. September 12th, I got Zachary Harker coming in from the Michigan crew. And then on the 13th, a Tuesday night, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing a very special show. It's National Defy Superstition Day, believe it or not. Okay. And we've been talking about doing a show on nautical superstition. I have my good friend Matt Frick. He's the curator of the Pirate and Treasure Museum and the author of a book all about Thomas II the Pirate. He'll be coming in, and I'm trying to get one other guest to come in with me. I might have to rearrange the studio just a little bit to have all three of us sit here. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to go right up to September 19th, our first anniversary and the birthday of Scarlet Deerheart. So we'll be doing a special event that night and having a good time. So ladies and gentlemen, we've got a lot on the horizon. Keep a watch out for us. We'll be posting that on a regular basis. Let's see. How about a thank you to all of our sponsors? Ladies and gentlemen, look at that. Our sponsors are the Ancient City Sirens. That's Miss Gina Marie and her girls. Dick's Wing and Grill here in US 1 down by the shores. Paper and Strings, my good friends. I love them to death. Adam and Christy, they live over in the Tampa area. I am sure that they can be telling us different places they'll be singing and playing, but they'll be here next week or this weekend coming up. They're coming to visit us. We look forward to having them here. Shiver Me Pictures, the Scarlet Deerheart, the Colonial Oak Music Park, and of course, the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, my home away from home. Good to have them there. We have the people that make it work for us. The Powder Monkey. You don't see him on here all the time, but he's around. And there's the cartoon characters of Captain Mayhem, Davey, Longwood, and Hellfire Henley. And of course, W. Mayhem Productions and the St. Augustine Swashbucklers and William Mayhem. Those are the ones that make sure this podcast works fine. There's our charities, ladies and gentlemen. St. Augustine Youth Services, Inc., the Humane Society, and our Christmas Toys for Pits, where we help out families with toys and money to make sure it works out well for them for the holidays. Go to our Patreon and be one of our Patreon sponsors at the Captain's Quarters podcast. We have 5, or is it 6 now? We have 6 first mates in Patreon. We have 6 sponsors and 226 subscribers. My goal is 300 subscribers by the 1st of January. Think we can make it, Mr. Hellfire? I caught him napping.
Yes, you
Mhm.
300 sponsors. And ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to just show this off. This is the poster for this year's Spooktacular. It'll be at the Colonial Quarter, sponsored by the Colonial Quarter and the Pirate and Treasure Museum. But you see that red band on the side there, ladies and gentlemen? We'd like to put 5 sponsored logos on there. If you'd like to be a sponsor for our show, that's one thing. But we need you to be a sponsor for our Halloween Spooktacular, August 28th, 29th, and 30th. There will be an admission price, ladies and gentlemen, $10 for adults, $5 for children. But I can guarantee you it will be worth the money. And on top of that, we will be putting out discount cards everywhere to get $1 off, so you can come in and see us. And all the money raised after proceeds, all the proceeds after paying for the products, goes to our favorite charities, Inc. and St. Augustine Youth Services. So, ladies and gentlemen, be watching. We're going to be kicking it into high gear. You'll be surprised at some of the new things we're bringing into Halloween. I think we probably reached our time. What do you say, Mr. Longwood? Have I missed anything?
No, Captain.
Believe it or not, without a script, I was able to do it. How about that? Of course, every captain needs a good navigator, and that's what we have in Davey. And if I don't say it enough on the air, I do say Davey does a great job keeping me in line and keeping us up on what we're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do this without people like Davey, Hellfire, our guests. Otherwise, it would be boring, me just sitting here talking to myself. I'd have to do it. Smooth just put something on there. What did he put up there, Mr. Davey? Navigator Davey, I have a small correction for you, mate. It should read Festival des Pirates, not Quebec des Pirates. All right, we can fix that easily. Fix that. By next week, we'll have it fixed, and none will know the difference. How about that? And Andrew, what did Andrew put in there?
It's like a great job, you geeks.
Oh, did he call us geeks?
Yes.
All right. Well, we love you, Andrew. You do a great job. You're a great magician. Love your wife more. Because she does the daring stuff. But it's always good to have all these friends watching us, paying attention. Spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'm going to have some kind of a contest to see what we can do about giving away some real fun stuff by the end of the year for Christmas time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great week. It's been a great show. Michael, thank you very much for being a part of the show.
You're welcome.
Anything you want to say to the audience before we leave?
Keep it sleazy.
Ah,
Keep it sleazy.
Pirate Sleazy is good.
Yep.
Pirate Sleazy. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, the 27th, the Professional Liars will be at Jack's
Craft beer.
In Jacksonville.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock at night. Hey, if I actually can make it out there, anybody wants to come out and have a beer with me, come on out. I'd love to meet people and see a great show. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for us to sign off.
Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always to our crew and our listeners, you're our family. Thank you very much for tuning in. And thank you, Michael, for being here. Aye.